Snow day policies vary significantly across different companies. The approach taken depends on factors such as the nature of the business, the location, and the company's culture. Let's examine some common snow day policies. Firstly, there is the case-by-case assessment. Under this policy, management evaluates the severity of the weather conditions and makes a decision on a case-by-case basis. Employees are typically notified if the office is closed or if there is a delayed start to the workday. The advantage of this approach is its flexibility, allowing the company to respond appropriately to each specific weather event. The disadvantage is the uncertainty it creates for employees who may not know whether they are expected to come to work until shortly before their commute. Secondly, some companies use predetermined thresholds. For example, a company might have a policy that the office will be automatically closed if snow accumulation exceeds 6 inches or if road conditions are deemed unsafe. This approach provides clarity and predictability for employees as the decision is based on objective criteria. However, it may not be suitable for all situations, as it does not take into account other factors such as the time of day the snow falls or the availability of public transportation. Thirdly, remote work options have become increasingly popular, especially with advancements in technology. Companies may allow employees who can work remotely to do so on snow days. The office may remain open for those who need to be physically present. This policy offers flexibility for both the company and its employees, allowing work to continue while minimizing disruptions. However, it may not be feasible for all types of jobs or for companies that lack the necessary infrastructure for remote work. Fourthly, flexible scheduling is another approach that some companies use. Under this policy, employees can adjust their work schedules on snow days, such as starting or ending later, or working from home for part of the day. This allows employees to avoid commuting during the worst of the weather, while still getting their work done. However, it requires a high degree of trust and communication between employees and managers. Fifthly, paid time off policies can also be used to cover snow days. Companies may provide employees with a specific number of paid time off days that they can use for any reason, including snow days. This gives employees control over how they use their time off, but it may also mean that they have to use vacation days to cover unexpected snow days. Sixthly, essential personnel exemption is a common policy in industries that provide critical services such as healthcare or public safety. Under this policy, a designated group of essential personnel is required to report to work regardless of the severity of the weather. This ensures that essential services continue to be provided during snow days. However, it is important to provide adequate support and compensation for essential personnel who are required to work in hazardous conditions. Seventhly, public transportation contingency plans are important for companies located in urban areas where many employees rely on public transportation to commute to work. If public transportation is suspended due to snow, employees who rely on it to commute may be excused from work. This policy recognizes that employees may not be able to get to work safely if public transportation is not available. Eighthly, some companies use employee discretion, giving employees the authority to determine whether their personal safety allows them to commute to work. This approach relies on employees to make responsible decisions based on their own individual circumstances. It requires a high degree of trust and open communication between employees and managers. Ninthly, an inclement weather policy can be implemented. The company has a comprehensive inclement weather policy that outlines specific procedures for snow days, including road closure protocols and alternative work arrangements. This provides a clear and consistent framework for dealing with snow days. It helps to ensure that employees understand their responsibilities and that the company is prepared to deal with inclement weather. Tenthly, and finally, some companies have no snow day policy. The office remains open on snow days regardless of the weather conditions. Employees are expected to make every effort to report to work on time. This policy may be appropriate for companies that provide essential services or that have a high degree of operational requirements. However, it can also create stress and hardship for employees who have to commute in dangerous conditions. In the Baltimore, Maryland area, weather conditions can be unpredictable during the winter months. Companies should carefully consider their snow day policies to ensure that they are fair, equitable, and effective. The policy should also be communicated clearly to all employees. It is also important to consider the legal implications of snow day policies. Companies may be liable for injuries sustained by employees who are required to work in dangerous conditions. Therefore, it is important to take steps to ensure the safety of employees during snow days, such as providing transportation assistance or allowing employees to work from home. A well-defined snow day policy can help companies to minimize disruptions, maintain productivity, and ensure the safety of their employees. The choice of which policy to implement will depend on the specific circumstances of each company. Consider the nature of your business, your location, your company culture, and the needs of your employees when developing your snow day policy. Review and update your policy regularly to ensure that it remains relevant and effective.